أهلاً يا جميع. Welcome to All Things Arabic, a podcast that tackles the key issues for Arabic teachers and Arabic learners in primary and secondary schools outside the Arabic-speaking world, and hosted by me, Ustaza Karoni. In this episode, we're continuing on with the theme we've covered in an earlier edition, which is assessments. This time, we'll be focusing on the UK, where teachers are calling for changes in the assessments. They say the difficulty level and disconnection between classroom teaching and final exams are potentially deterring students from studying Arabic. I'm talking to Fatima Mohamed, an Arabic teacher at a girls' school, and Luma Hameed, who's an associate lecturer at Goldsmiths, University of London, as well as a leader of the Arabic Teachers Council in London and Southern England. Let's start with Fatima to find out about the teacher's experience before Luma tells us about the changes needed. Marhaba, Ustaza Fatima. It's great to have you with us today.
Marhaba. I'm really glad, and it's a pleasure for me to be here.
Yes, it's amazing to welcome you here today. Can I ask you to start off by telling our listeners a little bit more about yourself, who you are, how you became an Arabic teacher?
My name is Fatima Mohamed, and I live in England in a town called Bolton, and it's part of Greater Manchester. I teach in a secondary school, and I teach the Arabic language. I've been teaching Arabic since now more than 20 years. And I'm also the head of the Arabic Teacher Council in the northwest of England, which includes Manchester, Blackburn, Bolton, Liverpool, and other places. So mainly I'm heading this Arabic Teacher Council to provide some trainings for the teachers and to familiarize the language to the local community. I teach Arabic to students from age 11 till 16 years old.
MashaAllah, it sounds like you're very busy.
I am.
and you're very active in the Arabic Teacher Council, across England as well as in your own local community. How important is learning a language at your school, the Muslim girls' school in Bolton, England?
Well, being an Islamic school, I think I wouldn't say all the motive, but the main motive is for them to understand Quran and the Hadith, and also to, because Quran is written in Arabic. But now I find it more towards also because it's becoming a global language. People travel a lot to Arab countries. And that becomes really for them, it's a handy language to go and communicate with the local people. All the people speak in English in the Arab countries, but my students find it even better when they actually go and speak in Arabic. So for them, they're exploring Arabic, and not only the language, but they explore the culture, they explore the habits, the customs, the tradition in the Arab country, which is quite fascinating for them.
Are there other languages that you teach at your school as well?
We do Arabic, we do Spanish, and we do Urdu language. So 3 languages, but the student have to choose one and take it from year 8, the second year when they're in school, and then take it all the way to the board exam, which is, we call it here in England, GCSE exam.
Wow, the GCSE exam. And yes, we will get to talking about assessments in just a little bit. We want to learn a little bit more about how popular Arabic is at your school.
Arabic is very popular, and I have contributed to that as well with my trips and study, the study day that we do in Manchester, lots of quizzes, lots of competitions, the Arabic Honor Society, with the British Council, with the Qatar Foundation. So the popularity of Arabic is increasing over the years. It is quite popular, and I've got students from, I would say, 35 students to 50 students doing the exam every year. And my students are not native speakers of Arabic. I've got students who are having a different background, Asian background, African background, but they're still attracted to this language.
So you just mentioned that anywhere from 35 to 50 of your students on a yearly basis are taking this final board exam, their final year of high school. Can you explain for anyone outside of the UK, but also for our UK listeners, how does that assessment process work?
We have 4 assessments in Arabic. We have all the 4 skills. We've got listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and they're all different papers. The speaking, we do it within a window that opens by the Edexcel exam board. That's the only exam board in the UK that offer Arabic, and they do the question papers. So we prepare our students from year 7 till year 11 with all the skills required, with all the vocabulary, with all the scheme of work that's required to enable them to do the exam in year 11. Now, the Edexcel exam board, they prepare the question paper and they give us a window for the speaking exam. We do it within that window and we submit the recording to the exam board for marking. The other papers, it's within a schedule, within a timetable that falls equally in all the schools that they do Arabic in the UK. And we have 2 tiers. We've got foundation and higher. So we actually categorize our students according to their abilities.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of preparation.
So preparation, yeah.
For the teachers and for the students. Can I ask you, considering all of that preparation that both teachers and students have to do, how successful are your students on these exams? And do you feel like they face certain challenges perhaps on these assessments?
Do face challenges, obviously. The exams are not that easy. They can be really harsh. And especially the last 2 years, we have faced really very difficult exams. But in spite of that, my students, and considering that regardless of their ethnicity, they don't speak Arabic at home, they only experience Arabic and communicate in Arabic while they are in school in my lessons. But in spite of that, we had really good grades of students really working hard and trying their best and achieving what we call grade 9s and 8s and 7s, which is like the cream of the grades, okay, the top grades. And we've got students who get grade 4 and 3, but for me and for them, that they have tried, they have achieved something, and they came out of the journey of learning Arabic with a GCSE, regardless of what they've got, but they've got a GCSE in Arabic.
Right. Is there something that's changed in the past 2 years that have made the assessments more difficult that you've noticed?
COVID-19 really, and the students being at home and having these online lessons, when they came back, I think that's the whole, I'm not saying only in Arabic, but all the subjects have experienced that the students are really falling back in grades, but also the question papers in Arabic are getting really harder. They use authentic pieces of work. They use a bit of old Arabic language. And we all, as Arabic teachers in the UK, we all actually nominated somebody who speak on our behalf to the Edexcel exam board, which they have promised they will look at it and they will revise, because they're really hard for a student who don't speak it and non-native speakers of Arabic. It is quite hard for them. So let's hope that they change the questions a little bit and bring some easier questions. We do welcome challenge. Challenge is needed in all the papers. We do welcome challenge, but it shouldn't be that level.
Right. So it sounds like perhaps the assessments are being written for native speakers of the language who might have background knowledge that is cultural or historical or maybe sociolinguistic, that your non-native speakers, they don't come to the exam with that background knowledge. And so they're purely relying on what language skills do I have to be able to understand that. And they're meeting the challenge, but sometimes it might be a little bit unfair or unjust or inequitable.
Of course, because we here are promoting Arabic, and having exams at that level will put some students off choosing Arabic, and we don't want this. We want the students, the number to be increasing over the years, and we need to promote Arabic, the culture, the language, the tradition, especially that all our students are Muslims, and even the non-Muslims. It's good to familiarize themselves with Arabic as long as they want to learn the language.
Right. So can I ask you, in your experience as a teacher for 20 years and seeing these exams come up, how big of a problem are these challenges? How much is it impacting students wanting to study Arabic and wanting to take their GCSE in Arabic?
We don't want to put off students of choosing Arabic. We always need to promote Arabic. We need to encourage them to do Arabic. And because they love Arabic, they love the language. And we do lots of effort in school. We do lots of trips. I've taken them to Jordan. I've taken them to Spain. Yeah, I did, because, they have participated in many competitions organized by the British Council, the QFI, the AHS as well. So I don't want my students to feel that we're doing this language for 5 years years. And at the end of the journey, we actually don't achieve the grade. We don't achieve the grade that we deserve because we worked hard and we actually shown the interest. So for me, for them to get a good grade is an achievement. Yes, they've done all this work, but I want them to achieve a good grade as well.
Okay, so let's break it down challenge by challenge with the assessment. I know you mentioned we have a listening section, there's a writing section, there's a reading, there's a speaking section. Can you break it down for us challenge by challenge? What are the biggest obstacles that your non-native speaking students face when they take the GCSE exam?
I think, in my opinion, the speaking is the best skill for the girls because I prepare them beforehand and we do lots of practice, even if they don't know the question, but they know how to start the answer, how to describe, how to do things. So I think my students, they prefer the speaking because there is no writing, there is no, they're not concerned about the spelling mistakes, about, the sentence structure. They can just talk to me and we prepare, really, we practice a lot. The listening, some people, when they record the audio, they use the accent, the dialect, and they're quite fast. So my students, we teach them the standard Arabic, and they're not used to the dialect because when you think about Arabic, Iraq has their own dialect, Yemen has their own dialect, Lebanon, Masri, we've got lots of accents in Arabia. My students, they learn the standard Arabic, and when we listen, sometimes the people who record, they actually use the local accent and our students are not used to it. The second complaint from my students and a feedback saying that they're a bit fast when they talk, and it's good to break it down into small chunks and take a nice pace. The third thing and the challenge is they read quite a long text, while for the answers, the students need only 5 words to answer the questions. And they keep talking and talking and talking. And the girls, when I say girls, sorry, my students are all girls. So the students get lost. Okay. And you think, why are they saying all that while they just need 5 or 6 words for the answers? So maybe shortening the text, the speed a little bit, and also not using the dialect, using the standard Arabic properly.
Yes, those definitely sound like challenges. And from my conversations with a lot of teachers here in the US, we also face the same challenge of we might be teaching in modern standard Arabic, MSA, and the person giving the oral examination might be speaking in Levantine dialect or Egyptian dialect. And so students in the US, I've also heard, face that difficulty of navigating the multiple registers that exist in the Arabic language. Let me ask you this final question, because I know you have your 20 years of teaching, you have your so many students every year taking this big board exam and giving you lots of feedback. It sounds like they're very honest with you. What do you think needs to change? What is the message that you all with the Arabic Teacher Council in England are sending to the folks in charge of writing these exams?
Well, I think they need to be considerate that not all the students who are doing Arabic exam are native speakers. There are non-native speakers, and we need to promote this language. We need to encourage them and motivate them to do Arabic. And if these exams will carry on being the way they are putting them at the moment, this would put lots of students off and they will opt for other languages rather than opting for Arabic. Maybe in the writing exam, the questions, they used to be in English, and then the students have to do it to do the essays in Arabic, which is good because at least we make sure that the students understand the question. Now, with the new system, with the new specification, the questions are in Arabic, and it's a challenge itself for the students to understand the question itself. And plus, they don't put the harakat, the tashkil. So, for example, in one of the questions, they said, ma'lam, takallami an ma'lam siyahi. Now, some of these students, they thought, takallami an muallim. So they spoke about their teacher, the favorite teacher, or the teacher who took them to siyaha or something, and they didn't understand that it was ma'lam. Why? Because there is no harakat, there is no fatha, dhamma, kasra. Okay, so they don't know. So I would say maybe if we go back to the old specification that was before, write the questions in English and then assess the students the way they write it in Arabic. And that's what we want to focus on, their assessment. We assess them on the way they write. okay, as long as they understand the question. So understanding the question is a challenge itself.
Right. For all of our listeners who might not be native Arabic speakers, I want to take a moment and break down the difference between those two questions. So the harakat or the tashkil, they're short vowels in Arabic. And you could have a word that is written with all of the same letters, but if your short vowels change, like al-ma'alam to al-mu'allam, it changes the meaning of the actual word.
Meaning, yeah.
Let me finish with this question because you've been involved with teaching Arabic for so long. Where do you see the future of teaching Arabic in the UK, in England? Do you think that these folks that are making and writing the exams, do you think they will listen and make the changes? The exams will get better. More students will start studying Arabic. What do you see the future being for Arabic?
I think the future holds really lots of promising things for Arabic, because in the past we didn't even have any resources, online resources, and we used to create resources ourselves. But now if you look online, there are lots and lots of resources. People are becoming more aware that this is a language that's been taught in the UK, and not only in community schools, but in mainstream schools. Arabic is becoming more popular. When it comes to exam, in the past we had really nice exams. I mean, they were challenging, but they were not that difficult, and the students used to pass the exams really with flying colors and with bright colors. But I would say there is a future. In the UK, we've got the teacher councils available to provide good teachers, to provide good chances of workshops, of training sessions for the teachers. And if the teachers are trained properly, obviously we'll have well-achieved students in the future. And also the community, because we do lots of Arabic cultural days as well, which is something we do it once a year or twice a year. And we invite the community, we invite everyone to come, and we cook some Arabian food. We show them the dresses, the traditional costumes in the countries, the flags. So we are approaching the community and showing them what Arabic is like, what is the culture like. And also this is something good because our students help us doing that. So no, there is a good future for Arabic.
So, as Fatima mentioned, changes are needed when it comes to assessments in the UK. So let's look now at what's being done. Luma Hameed, just to remind you, is a leader of the Arabic Teachers Council in London and Southern England, and she's working hard to achieve those changes. So, is she optimistic? And just what else is needed for Arabic teaching and learning to thrive in the UK? You've spoken before about a disconnect between assessments and the classroom. Can you briefly explain that?
The disconnection is related to the exam papers level on one side and the resources and teacher training of Arabic as a foreign language on the other side.
So in the UK, how would you say Arabic teaching is perhaps lagging behind the other languages? Like, where does it need to catch up?
In everything, really. We need Arabic language teachers. We need to have more qualified teachers. That's number one. We need to have mainstream schools or working in mainstream schools and who have good understanding of other modern foreign languages. So it's not just Arabic. We want to bring Arabic into the family of modern foreign languages because we are sharing the same skills. It's just the outcome is different. It's different language, but the teaching methodologies are the same.
So I know you've also mentioned not only being an assessor, but also working on writing assessments. So if you could give the current Arabic assessments a score, like a scorecard, would you say they are excellent, satisfactory, failing? And what might you think needs to change? Like, what are the first changes that need to happen to make these assessments better and more appropriate and supportive of teaching Arabic in the UK?
Yes, I mean, as I said, I'm focusing here more on the main exam board that we have in the UK. And if you want me to assess this, I would say it is failing towards the non-native speakers. Looking at the results after, they get published, all the heritage and native speakers, they've been celebrating the outstanding results. But the non-native speakers, and loads of them that we know, they are outstanding at their schools and other subjects, but they got grade 4, which is just about, passing the exam. And I'm thinking as an exam setter, is this really reflecting the linguistic competency of that student? It is not. Well, what is affecting this exam paper is, it's the language that has been used, the way that it has been structured. It's not targeting those students. It's not targeting foreign language learners. So those students have been the most have been suffered from this exam, unfortunately. And I hope that the exam board is going to listen to our calls, because we met the language advisor and she was very supportive. She listened to us, but we want to see the outcome out of this, and we want to see it very soon as well.
Yes. So in thinking about steps towards improving the exam, a question for you is, I know in the United States, we have ACTFL, the American Council for Teachers of Foreign Languages, that comes out with can-do proficiency statements, right? To work towards, okay, after your first year of Arabic and this many contact hours, you will be able to reach this proficiency level. And in the UK, you all have the Common European Framework for Languages. From your knowledge as an assessor, is that where they are building their proficiency guidelines and proficiency goals, from that framework, or is it from somewhere else?
We have something called the grade 9 to 1, with 9 being the highest and 1 being the lowest, but it's more or less the same. We have, like, for every grade, we have a description for what the students need to achieve to get grade 1 to 3 up to 9 from the 4 language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And some of the good points maybe about the assessment or the exam boards really is, like, they are offering a very thorough document where all of these descriptors are there. So we have the assessment criteria clearly written there, and it's good for teachers on the planning phase to look at them. This document also has the topics, the subtopics, the grammar points that needs to be covered at this level, and this is very supportive. But my question is, then the whole document is disconnected from the real exam, which jumps into a much higher level in grammar and vocabulary, in sentence structure and everything. So students and teachers lose, the whole point of why are we teaching this specification when the exam is on a quite different level.
With the issue of professionalization that you mentioned, of Arabic teaching or training teachers, can you briefly describe the extent of the problem? What resources do you have to professionally train as Arabic teachers in the UK? What resources are lacking? Do you have solutions to suggest?
Yes, of course. So as I mentioned before, there are 3 strands that we're looking at. So we have the more qualified teacher training, and with the support of Qatar Foundation International, of course, in the UK for many years now, we managed to get, but it's a slow process, but we managed to get more qualified teachers on the right track. So from being on the Arabic certificate course, for example, at Goldsmiths, University of London, and then into getting the qualified teaching status through, the different routes that's available. It's a slow process, but we are getting there. And the teacher training is another, used to be actually another problem, because we never used to have any support from any party in supporting the training of Arabic language teachers. But now we have 5 Arabic teacher councils in the UK, backed up by Qatar Foundation International. And honestly speaking, all of them are doing a wonderful job in supporting the teachers from primary, secondary, and A-level students with everything they need. We're also trying this year to get in touch with mainstream schools so we can offer them any support their students might have if they don't have Arabic in the curriculum.
It's incredible to see the outreach that you all are doing as Arabic teacher councils, especially as we see more students curious to learn Arabic, more communities really wanting to have Arabic taught for their kids at schools. So jumping back to assessments one last time, if I'm understanding you correctly, it sounds like one of the biggest challenges is that these tests are really only designed for native speakers of the language. Would you say that a possible solution could be a range of assessments to address differentiation in students? Could there possibly be a GCSE exam for heritage speakers or native speakers of the language, and then a separate version of the exam for non-native speakers? Or would you think it would be one exam that had scaffolding and differentiation that could reach sort of the middle road and be able to target and create a space for success for all students studying Arabic?
Yes, that's a good question, really, Caroline. And the assessment that we have at the moment is meant to be for non-native speakers, so it's for Arabic as a foreign language. And the exam board is already offering alternatives for native speakers, not for heritage learners, but for native speakers. There is another exam, but loads of students are finding it just easier to get into this exam because they can achieve higher. What I would really stress on here is, like, even with other exam boards that I work with, when the exam paper is tailored or it's specified for Arabic as a foreign language, we don't think at all about who is going to set this exam. When we set the paper, we know that this is going to be for non-native speakers, and we just follow the structure of a non-native speaker piece of writing in vocabulary, in sentence structure, and everything. Who's going to set the exam? I don't know. But this is the paper, it's for non-native speaker, and it should be like this.
Are you optimistic about changes? Do you see the efforts and the energy and the push for change having an impact, having a future? Are you optimistic?
Yes, definitely. I'm always optimistic anyway. But with this part, I'm really optimistic because we started the communication with the exam board. What we're really asking for is just to bring the level of the Arabic exam equal to other modern foreign languages. We're not asking about any specific change for Arabic language. Just bring it to the same level. So learners are feeling that they are being treated fair in comparison with any other modern foreign language. That's all.
Do you have an idea for how long it might take for these changes to happen and truly impact the teachers and impact the students?
I mean, as I said, if we're speaking about the teacher training and the resources, we started already, there is a good progress, and we are working towards achieving the final target. But with the targets that I just mentioned, the resources, the teacher training, it's like any other language. It's an ongoing process. It's endless. So we have to offer this all the time and to make sure that we are updated with all the new changes to the exams, to the materials, to the teaching strategies. And this is an ongoing process.
Thank you so much, Luma, for meeting with us today. You've been so informative and powerful and joyful and positive. Shukran jazilan to both Ustaza Fatima and Ustaza Luma for explaining the challenges as well as potential solutions earlier. And thank you for joining us in today's episode of All Things Arabic. This podcast was made possible by QFI, Qatar Foundation International, a US-based organization that helps make the teaching and learning of Arabic as accessible and professional as all other world languages. Do join us again when we tackle more issues related to the teaching and learning of Arabic outside the Arabic-speaking world. Subscribe, like, share this podcast. Please do let your colleagues and friends know about it. And head on over to the QFI website to learn more about opportunities and resources available to language educators and students. Ma'a salama.